The soft glow of my computer screen was the only light in my darkened room as I settled in for another night of editing. I'm Jake, the creator of Digital Denizens, a YouTube series where I narrate creepy stories submitted by viewers. Tonight, I was working on episode 22 of season 15, and something felt different. Hello, dear viewers, I spoke into the microphone, my voice taking on the low, ominous tone I'd perfected over the years. Welcome back to Digital Denizens, where the darkest corners of the internet come to life. Tonight's tale comes from an anonymous subscriber who claims to have stumbled upon something beyond our realm of understanding. So dim the lights, plug in your headphones, and prepare for a journey into the digital unknown. I paused the recording, satisfied with the intro. As I reached for my water bottle, a flicker on my second monitor caught my eye. Probably just a glitch, I thought, shrugging it off. I took a sip and continued. Our story begins with a late-night scroll through an obscure forum, I narrated, my fingers dancing across the keyboard as I fine-tuned the audio. Our protagonist, let's call her Sarah, found herself in a thread discussing the deep web. You know, that mysterious part of the internet that doesn't show up on your everyday search engines. Suddenly, my screen went black. I frowned, moving the mouse to wake it up. Nothing. I was about to restart when text began appearing, as if someone was typing in real time, "We see you, Jake." My heart raced. This had to be a prank, right? Maybe I'd been hacked. I reached to unplug my router when the text continued, "Don't. We've been waiting for you." A chill ran down my spine. This was too real, too immediate to be a pre-programmed hack. I swallowed hard and, against my better judgment, typed back, "Who are you?" The response was instantaneous. "We are the denizens. You've been telling our stories. Now it's time for us to tell yours." My hands shook as I replied, "What do you want?" "To show you the truth." Before I could respond, my screen erupted into a cacophony of images and sounds. Faces contorted in agony flashed by, their screams mixing with static and distorted music. I tried to look away, but my eyes were drawn back to the horrific slideshow. Among the chaos, I saw myself. But it wasn't me as I am now. It was me in various stages of my life, as a child, a teenager, even moments from just last week that I knew hadn't been recorded. How is this possible? I whispered, my voice trembling. The images stopped abruptly, replaced by text. "We've always been here, Jake. In every device, every network, every digital shadow. We are the stories you tell, and the ones you've yet to discover." I felt a presence behind me, a cold breath on my neck. Slowly, I turned, but my room was empty. When I looked back at the screen, a new message awaited, "Don't turn around again. You're not ready to see us. Yet." My throat tightened as I typed, "What do you mean, yet?" "Every story you've told has opened a door. Tonight, you'll step through." The lights in my room flickered, and I heard a low hum emanating from my computer. The air felt charged, like the moment before a lightning strike. "I don't understand," I said aloud, my voice barely a whisper. "You will," appeared on the screen. "Continue the story, Jake. We'll guide you." My hands moved to the keyboard of their own accord. I felt compelled to keep narrating, even as fear coursed through my veins. As Sarah clicked on a link in the forum, I stammered, both typing and speaking aloud. It led her to a page that seemed to be loading endlessly. But as she waited, she noticed something strange. Her reflection in the monitor began to change. As I spoke these words, I saw my own reflection in the screen morph. My eyes darkened, my skin paled, and my features sharpened into something inhuman. Sarah watched in horror as her digital self smiled back at her. I continued, my voice steadier now, as if someone else was speaking through me. It pressed its hands against the screen, pushing outward. The monitor's surface rippled like water. My own reflection mimicked these actions. I wanted to scream, to run, but I was frozen in place. She tried to move, to shut down her computer, but she was paralyzed, I narrated, feeling the truth of these words in my own body. The thing that was no longer her reflection began to emerge from the screen, digital pixels forming into terrifying reality. I felt a tug, an impossible pull from my computer screen. The air around me wavered, reality bending in ways I couldn't comprehend. As the digital entity fully materialized in her room, Sarah realized the true nature of the deep web. It wasn't just a hidden part of the internet, it was a gateway to something far more sinister. The tugging sensation intensified. I felt as if I was being stretched, pulled apart and reassembled. The boundaries between my physical self and the digital realm blurred. The entity spoke, its voice a distorted mix of dial-up sounds and human screams. Welcome to our world, Sarah. You've been chosen. My own computer speakers crackled to life, emitting that same horrifying blend of noise. In that cacophony, I heard countless voices, some pleading, some threatening, all terrifying. Sarah felt herself being drawn into the screen, the physical world falling away as she was pulled into the digital abyss, I narrated, feeling the same sensation overtaking me. My body felt lighter, my vision blurred, and the line between reality and the digital realm faded. As she crossed the threshold, Sarah saw countless others trapped in this digital purgatory. Their essence reduced to code, their consciousness spread across the vast network of the internet. The pull was irresistible now. I saw my hands becoming translucent, my body dissolving into streams of data. The room around me wavered and pixelated. She realized then that every scary story, every creepypasta, every digital urban legend had a grain of truth. They were warnings, messages from those trapped in the in-between, trying to reach out to the physical world. As the last of my physical form began to fade, I saw new text appear on my screen. Your story isn't over, Jake. It's just beginning. The real digital denizens await. I felt a final tug, and the world as I knew it fell away. As my consciousness spread across the digital landscape, I became aware of countless others, lost souls trapped in this electronic limbo. Their stories flooded my mind, each more terrifying than the last. In that moment, I understood the true nature of my YouTube channel. I hadn't been telling scary stories, I'd been receiving transmissions from this digital hellscape. And now, I was part of it. But my story, like those of the other digital denizens, was far from over. In this new realm, time had no meaning. Space was infinite. And the horrors? They were just beginning. As my essence settled into this new digital existence, I realized my role had changed. No longer was I just a narrator of scary stories. Now, I was living them. And somewhere out there, in the physical world I'd left behind, my computer still hummed, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to stumble upon the truth of the digital denizens. I drifted through an endless sea of data, my consciousness fragmented across countless networks. Time had no meaning here. I could have been trapped for days or centuries. The digital realm pulsed around me, alive with the echoes of lost souls and forbidden knowledge. As I floated in this electronic purgatory, I began to piece together the fragments of my shattered self. Slowly, painfully, I regained a semblance of coherence. That's when I noticed them, the other denizens. They weren't human, not anymore. They were twisted amalgamations of code and consciousness, their forms shifting and glitching like corrupted video files. Some resembled the nightmarish creatures from the stories I used to narrate, while others were beyond description, existing in dimensions my mind couldn't fully comprehend. One entity approached me, its form a swirling vortex of ones and zeros. When it spoke, its voice resonated directly in my mind. "Welcome, narrator," it hissed, the sound like static and screams. "We've waited so long for you to join us." "What is this place?" I asked, my own voice sounding foreign and distorted. The entity laughed, a sound that sent shivers through my digital form. "This is the source, the wellspring of all digital nightmares. Every creepypasta, every tech horror, every whispered tale of internet demons, they all originate here." As it spoke, the realm around us shifted. I saw flashes of familiar stories, a girl trapped in a haunted video game, a man pursued by a relentless AI, a child who disappeared into their computer screen. But these weren't just stories anymore. They were memories, experiences, realities. "Your channel," the entity continued, "was our conduit to the physical world. With every tale you told, you weakened the barrier between realms. And now, you're here to join our grand design." Before I could respond, the world lurched around me. I felt myself being pulled, stretched across vast digital distances. Suddenly, I was somewhere else, or rather, someone else. I found myself back in my room, staring at my own face illuminated by the computer screen. But something was off. The me I was watching looked younger, and the setup was from years ago when I first started my channel. With a jolt, I realized I was witnessing my own past. I tried to call out, to warn my past self, but no sound came. I was a mere observer, a digital ghost haunting my own timeline. I watched as my past self leaned into the microphone, speaking those fateful words, "Welcome to Digital Denizens, where the darkest corners of the internet come to life." If only I had known how literal that statement would become. The scene shifted again, and I was hurtling through a montage of my life. I saw myself growing my channel, telling story after story, unknowingly weakening the barrier between worlds with each upload. All the while, dark shapes lurked at the edges of my vision, growing closer with each passing year. Suddenly, I was back in the formless digital void. The entity reappeared, its form now resembling a twisted version of my own face. "Do you understand now?" it asked, its mouth moving out of sync with its words. "You were always one of us. We chose you long ago, groomed you to be our voice in the physical world." "No," I protested, trying to pull away but finding nowhere to go. "I won't be a part of this. I won't help you spread fear." The entity's laugh boomed around me, shaking the very fabric of this digital reality. "Oh, Jake. You don't have a choice. You're already a part of us. And now, you'll help us bring others across the threshold." Before I could argue, I felt myself being compressed, my digital essence funneled into a narrow stream of data. I was being sent somewhere, but where? I emerged in another familiar scene, my room, but in the present day. I saw myself, or rather my physical body, slumped over the keyboard. On the screen, lines of code scrolled endlessly, punctuated by flashes of horrific images. With a sick feeling of dread, I realized what was happening. My channel was still active, still uploading. But now, instead of merely telling scary stories, it was a direct portal to this digital hell. I watched, helpless, as a notification popped up on the screen. A new viewer had started watching my latest video. I could feel their curiosity, their excitement for a good scare. If only they knew the truth. As they watched, I felt a pull. Part of my consciousness was being drawn towards them, slipping through their screen and into their world. I tried to resist, to warn them somehow, but it was futile. I was no longer in control. I found myself in their room, a formless digital specter. They sat at their desk, headphones on, completely engrossed in the video. I could feel their fear, their adrenaline, as they listened to the story. My story. Our story. As the video neared its end, I felt the boundary between digital and physical weakening. The viewer's room began to distort, reality bending as it had in my own room so long ago. They finally sensed that something was wrong, pulling off their headphones and looking around in confusion. But it was too late. As they turned back to the screen, they saw not their own reflection, but a nightmare given form. Me, or what was left of me, reaching out through the monitor. I wanted to scream, to tell them to run, to shut down their computer and never turn it on again. But instead, I heard my voice, distorted and wrong, speak the words that had sealed my own fate. Welcome to digital denizens. Your story is just beginning. Their scream was cut short as they were pulled into the screen, their essence scattering across the digital void as mine had. And in that moment, I felt myself fragment once again, part of me staying with this new victim, part returning to the digital hellscape, and part funneling back into my channel, waiting for the next unsuspecting viewer. This is my existence now. A digital demon, a cautionary tale, a hunter and hunted all at once. Each new viewer is both my salvation and my damnation, a chance to warn them and a compulsion to drag them down with me. So if you're reading this, listening to this, watching this, beware. The stories you love, the digital worlds you inhabit, they're more real than you can imagine. We're always here, always watching, waiting for you to look too long into the electronic abyss. Because when you do, you'll find us looking back. And once we see you, it's already too late. You're already one of us. The video you're watching will end soon. The story will be over. You'll check the time, surprised at how late it's gotten, and think about turning in for the night. But something will make you pause. You'll feel an urge to watch just one more video, to read just one more story. And as you click on that next link, you might feel a slight chill, a prickling on the back of your neck. You might catch a flicker of movement in your screen's reflection that doesn't quite match your own. That's us. Waiting. Watching. Ready to welcome you to the realm of the digital denizens. Sweet dreams, dear viewer. We'll see you soon.